Hi, I'm Tyson,
I'm Colin.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Adam.
and we're the Gamesmiths, and we're here to learn how to play the Quest Kids. To kick us off, Ryan's going to start us with the rules.
All right, quick overview of Quest Kids, the game. All players choose a Quest Kid. In our case, PJ Masks characters. Bam. You're going to take 3 health cards, 3 ability cards, and place the dungeon tiles out. So, actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to skip over that. So, there are 3 types of dungeon tiles. We have ability tiles, monster dungeon tiles, special item dungeon tiles. Actually, let me see. Okay, actually, here's the best. How to play. Players take turns moving their quest kit through the dungeon. On your turn, you can explore a new dungeon tile or visit an already explored dungeon tile. Players can move to any unexplored dungeon tile that's adjacent to another one. You'll run into ability dungeon tiles that provide you with ability cards that can be used to scare away monsters and gain special items. Monster dungeon tiles, which bring monsters into the game, they can be scared away using the ability cards. If they're not scared away, then they'll remain on the board awaiting their next foe. And then there's special items, which represent valuable items that can be found throughout the dungeon. You can earn treasure cards, which will allow you to buy stuff at the shop, and the shop will give you, power-ups that you can use throughout the game. Players are encouraged to help their fellow quest kids scare away monsters by giving them needed ability cards. Whenever a player helps another player, they get a kind kid card, which are over here, and they are always good. The game is over once all the dungeon tiles have been explored, and if possible, the remaining monsters and special items are dealt with. The quest kid with the most stars is the winner. So you see here we have our dungeon map. We have some light tiles. We have some darker tiles. And then we have our cards up here. These are all the same on both sides. So they're more or less just to kind of track your abilities. So you have 3 different abilities: power, knowledge, and magic. And then these are treasure cards, and these are health cards. And then, like I said before, those are your shop cards. Then everybody has their little kiddo, their little quest kid. And we all start here at this.
No, don't touch my quest kid.
All right.
Look what you did to my
Well, he
Quest
deserved
Kid.
it. You touched him.
I did not.
That's
Okay.
My Quest
So-
Kid is faulty.
Special ed kid.
We're going to lay out. We are going to lay out.
All right, moving on. Timber.
He stays there.
We are going to lay out all these dungeon tile cards here. And we'll explore them just by moving through the dungeon one by one and flipping them over. So on your turn, you are going to either explore a new dungeon tile or visit an already explored tile that contains a monster or an unclaimed item. And then they can also visit the shop to purchase something, but you have to do that before you explore on your turn. So if you want to go to the shop, you got to do that first. So the first type of dungeon tile is one like this, and that's an ability tile. It says +2 magic on it, which just means you're going to draw, 2 magic cards and add them to your stash. You can also gain treasure cards through there, and those are those yellow ones. It can be used to purchase items, and they're also good for points at the end of the game. And some ability tiles give the player the option for their choice. So, like this one says +2 magic, but it could say +2 of your choice. You can choose different types. Okay. Like any combination of for those, you can choose any combination of ability or treasure cards that you wish. But
not a health card.
Right, correct. Then there are monster dungeon tiles. That's a power line. I'll just look here real quick. There are monster dungeon tiles like this guy right here. So we'll just do that one. That's a little monster, and it needs one magic. So when you flip it up, you would put a little monster there on it, and then move your character there, and then you would need 1 magic to fight this monster. So in that case, you would use this 1 magic card and put it back, discard it essentially, and then you would defeat the monster, and you would take the little monster card off the table and take the meeple with it, and you would score that, and that would be 2 stars towards your victory at the end of the game. If a player does not have the required ability cards to scare away the monster, then they can receive help from another player. So when a player unveils a monster tile and does not have the required ability cards to scare it away, they can ask for help from another player. If a player helps a fellow quest kid, they get a kind kid card. Kind kid cards are always good, and there's stuff like +1 star, take an extra turn, +1 health, +1 of anything, any ability, all kinds of stuff. So
And how can you use those? Like
you just use them. You just
Immediately.
at
just
any
go.
time.
well, like +1 star is going to be for you at the end of the game.
Sure.
Extra turn you can just kind of use when you want to use it. The 2+2 treasure, you would just draw those cards. +1 health, you just draw a health card, kind of thing like that. So,
but you can do it on other people's turns.
using the
is-
kind kid cards, you need to use the kind kid cards on your turn, I believe.
No.
Let me see.
Doesn't seem like it matters much.
Yeah, but I don't know if it matters actually. So
The only
let's
one
see.
that you could use outside, I would
I don't
imagine,
think
is
we'll be gaming this one.
extra turn,
Yeah.
but even that doesn't.
Well, I don't know. I'm
Seems
just
pretty
wondering, like,
straightforward.
if somebody reveals a monster card, nobody has a magic, and you
Oh.
want to like use whatever card you can, so you can.
Oh, you have
then
gain any ability,
gain one,
gain a
and
magic.
then
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, there isn't really any specific timing and instructions on those. So you can kind of use them whenever.
Do you have to be adjacent to help? So, like in
No.
this instance, okay.
If a monster is not immediately scared away, they remain on the mat, and another player can visit that dungeon tile and scare away the monster their turn, instead of exploring a new dungeon. So
If mine can't be upright, nobody's can.
if you come here and for some reason you don't have a magic and nobody wants to help you, that's fine. You just stay there, and then on my turn, I can either come here and fight this monster, or I can just keep going and explore a different card and not fight the monster if I don't have the 1 magic.
What did you say? You have to run away a
No.
space if you
No.
are not able to kill the monster?
Nope. Nope. It is, and there's no, you can move to any tile. So when you move to a tile, you can move to any tile in the game that's adjacent to another exposed, or a flipped over tile, basically. So you're allowed to
Go as far as okay.
Right. So you can always, it doesn't matter where you are. If you're right here and we've revealed cards all the way up to here, you can move there for your turn. So like you're always allowed to just move to where the next unflipped over card is and flip it over. There's no limit to how far you can move in this game.
Okay.
The only thing that stops you is an unexplored
revealing
card.
your
You
card.
hit a card that, you can't move over a card that's unrevealed, and as soon as you hit a card, you reveal it, and now you're like, okay.
And I assume these walls as well.
Right,
so
correct. So we have these
If
walls.
you have something there.
Correct. So these solid lines on here are walls, and these dots are doors. So you can pass through where the dots are, but you can't pass through the solid lines. So you kind of need to come around here and work your way around kind of in a maze. So the last thing that you can get are special item cards. So like here, token gem of power. You need 2 power, and it's just worth 3 stars. So it's similar to fighting a monster. You just need to have the proper ability. So if you reveal this token gem of power, then the red gem of power gets placed there. And if you have the 2 power, is it? Yeah, power. If you have the 2 red cards that you need, you turn in those 2 red cards, you take the gem and the card, and that counts towards your score at the end of the game. So that would
okay.
give me 3 stars. Just like killing this monster with 1 magic would get you 2 stars.
Sure.
So those are the basic tiles. Any questions? You get ability cards, draw that many. Monsters, fight it with what you need. special item, collect it with what you need.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Then moving through the dungeon. Moving through the dungeon is quite simple for quest kids. On a player's turn, they are free to explore any unexplored tile that is adjacent to an explored tile. And you can't move diagonally, so it's just regular, the part of the dungeon with the darker tiles over here has more difficult monsters, but also has greater rewards. Nothing is preventing a quest kid from exploring this part of the dungeon once a path is cleared. However, proceed with caution. The one restriction in moving through the dungeon are walls that we discussed. Walls are the thick lines. Doors are the dotted lines. You can move through those. Part of being a quest kid is helping others when they are in need. So when a player unveils a monster tile and doesn't have the required ability cards to scare it away, he can ask for help from another player. If a player helps a fellow quest kid, they get to take a kind kid card. A player takes one kind kid card per card they give another player. Example, Noah needs 2 magic and 1 power to scare away a monster, but he only has 1 magic. Ivy gives 1 magic and 1 power to Noah and then takes 2 kind kid cards. At the shop, a player may purchase an item from the store during their turn before they move to a new dungeon tile. The price of each item is listed at the bottom of the card. It's just in treasure icons there. If the item says discard, it can only be used once. If it says ongoing, it can be used once per turn for the remainder of the game. Any +1 or +2 +1 or +2 any ability ongoing shop items can be used for different types of abilities on different turns. So this one here says +1 any ability ongoing. So that means every turn this can be a different ability. If you need it to be power one turn and magic the next, it can be. It's essentially a free one of these every turn. A purchase store item can be used any time during a player's turn. Each game only consists of 6 shop items. You see them right there. And once they're gone, they're gone. The game is over when all dungeon tiles have been revealed and all monsters / special items have been scared away / claimed. If a monster or special item on the board cannot be claimed due to lack of ability cards or lack of cooperation amongst the quest kids, then the game simply ends and those monsters are still roaming the dungeon. The final score, the quest kid with the most stars at the end of the adventure is the winner. Possible star sources include scared away monsters, special items, health cards, treasure cards, and 2 treasure cards equal 1 star. If a player, if you have an odd number of treasure cards, then divide your total by the amount of cards by 2 and round up. So if a player has 5 treasure cards at the end of the game, it's good for 3 stars. So then there are end game bonuses. If you have the most remaining health, so 1 health is worth 2 stars here at the end of the game, and then essentially every 2 treasures is worth 1 star. These guys aren't worth any points, and then you can see monsters and gems both have point values.
Do you lose health for losing to
gonna ask
monsters?
that.
or-
Yes, I'm sorry. If you
Do you
can't
start with health or something?
Yes. You start with 3 health cards. I'm sorry, I missed that. If you can't defeat the monster, there we go. If a player does not have the required ability cards to scare away a monster and is unable to receive help from the other quest kids, then the player loses a health card. If the player doesn't have any health cards remaining, they must skip their next turn. So if you lose a fight, you lose a health card. If you can't pay the 1 health card penalty of losing a fight, then you lose a turn. And you're essentially dazed for a turn, and then you come back and can keep going.
Do you start with
start with
more?
3.
Or I mean, when you become dazed, do you get health back, or you just are vulnerable for every subsequent?
You're just vulnerable until you find something that allows you to pick up a health card or gain a health card, which you can do. Kind kid cards, for example,
Right.
will help you gain health. So if you're out of health, it might
nice person.
help you to be nice to other
But
people.
if you're fighting a monster and somebody else helps you, you still get the monster card.
You get all the points, yes. If I'm fighting a monster and you help me, You get a kind kid card for every. So you could essentially, I could turn one over and not have any of the cards, and you give me everything I need to defeat it. I'd still get the points. You just get 3 kind kid
Yeah.
cards. But there are points in there. There's extra turns. There's 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 ability cards to replace the ones you drew. So
Yeah.
like I said, kind kid cards are always good.
Okay, question
So-
about the shop
Uh-huh.
tiles. The one that are saying it's a +1 ability ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
Are we taking an ability every turn for that, or only when you can use it, it's a wild card?
I would say +1 ability would allow you to draw 1 ability card
Okay.
Each turn.
each turn. I would say.
Because if you
Or
don't have
if
a
it
need
gives
for
you-
an
let me
ability
see.
that turn, are you still acquiring? a
No,
new
because I would
ability,
say
or are you
actually
using
no,
it as
because
a
this
wild?
one you would use and it would just give you 2 as a one-time thing. So I think, yeah, because this would allow you to hoard it, and I don't think that's the purpose of those.
So is it a wild card whenever you have
Yes,
to use
it's
something?
a 1 wild card per turn, let's say. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah,
So you
that's-
can just say, this time I'm using it
I just
as
figured we
a
need to
magic.
clarify that
Yes.
because you could just
Right.
stockpile.
Right,
whether
yeah,
you
no,
need
I
it or
think,
not.
I think
So in the
intention
instance that
is-
I have 1 magic and I'm on this tile and I need a second one, I can
Well,
spend to
Right, for
get-
here.
well.
Yeah, for here, yeah.
Or, yeah,
You would here you would need two power to be able to take this. If you only had one of these cards and this ability, you could say, I'm going to activate this ability for 1 power, and I'm going to discard this other one for the 2nd power, and that's what I need to take this. And then
Okay.
we'd let you take it.
Okay.
You'd keep this so you could do that again next turn.
But
you know,
for example, you
because it's
can't land
ongoing.
on the
Oh, right.
gain 2 magic and take a power
Right,
because
exactly.
you're
But you-
just
exactly. Then you say, okay, land here, I gain 2 magic, and then I'm
Right.
going to use this to also take a knowledge from the pile.
We're saying
Yep.
you can't do
You
that.
cannot do that. Correct. You could just say, this is required of me. This is filling that requirement.
Got it.
Okay.
Other than that, that's it. Any other questions?
No, I think I got it.
Anybody?
What
Okay.
about the big monsters? So those are undercards.
Yes, I'm guessing those are
big-
some of these
Oh,
say
those
boss
guys.
monsters.
Ooh.
Yeah, we have some bigger monsters. So these say little monsters, and then we have boss monsters.
Okay.
So I'm not exactly sure how everything's distributed. I didn't peek at all the cards, so I don't know where everything is or whatnot. But according to the game, your tougher fights and your bigger rewards are in this
Sure.
darker area.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Let's do this.
Anything else? All right. Awesome. Those are the rules. We'll see you in the game.